Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well folks, I hope everyone had an amazing 4th of July. Now what happens leading up to every holiday week is things start to slow down, and that was no difference here. We did get a couple of emails, but definitely not the volume that we usually do. So it's gonna be a little bit shorter video podcast today, but we did get some, and we do want to address those here, so why don't we jump right in? The first question is from Chana. Hi Tim, I'm a new gardener. What should I be treating my grass with during this raining time? I realize I'm late. I've been away from home a lot and noticed the grass is turning brown. 2 years ago I had sod put down. We have an HOA service that cuts the grass, but they don't treat the grass at all, and I see a lot of dandelions and weeds. Any suggestions? Thanks for reaching out. So I want to recommend 3 products that you need right now: Turf Trust, Kickstart, and Weed Beater Ultra. So let's talk about Turf Trust. Turf Trust is the best fertilizer on the market, and because you haven't been feeding your lawn consistently, that's really why it's starting to turn that brown color that you mentioned in your email. If you didn't do it in the spring and you haven't done it in the summer, your grass has gone through a lot. It's gone through a time of very little rain right into a time of high heat and a lot of rain. And so again, without the proper nutrition, your grass is gonna start to turn brown. So you definitely wanna go with Turf Trust lawn fertilizers, best fertilizers on the market. Now, another thing that you really wanna consider is the overall long-term health of your grass. And because you have sod, it's possible that those roots still aren't as strong as they could be. And that's where Kickstart comes in. Kickstart is formulated to really work with any fertilizer by strengthening the roots of your grass, which will then allow the grass to take in more of the nutrition that the fertilizer is providing. So you definitely want to put down Kickstart. Given that it's hot, I would absolutely recommend putting down Kickstart at least twice over the course of the next couple of months. Now, in terms of weeds, I would really recommend Weed Beater Ultra. I don't think that's something you need to do right now. I would probably wait until a little bit closer to the end of summer in terms of trying to combat those weeds, simply because of the heat that a lot of the area is experiencing. But again, Weed Beater Ultra is the best weed killer out there as far as I'm concerned. So, Turf Trust, Kickstart, Weed Beater Ultra. If you get those first 2 products down right away and wait till the end of the summer to start using Weed Beater Ultra, your lawn is gonna turn around really, really quickly. The next question is from Lawrence. Tim, knockout roses were cut back early spring and fed with Garden Trust. Excellent growth and bloomed beautifully. Then the yellow spots started appearing. I assume it's a fungus. Should I use copper fungicide? So based on this picture, it looks like you have rust, and using a copper fungicide is exactly what you want to do in this scenario. Now, I recommend Liquid Cop. That's what we actually sell here at Rosen's Online, but there are some other copper fungicides out there that work pretty well. Regardless of which product you choose to use, you want to get that down. That should help to start clear things up. However, you have some of those leaves maybe a little bit too far gone, and I'm not sure that this copper fungicide will actually clear up everything. So what I'd actually recommend you do is prune off some of the really bad leaves and then make sure that you rake those away from the rest of the plant. The good news is they're knockout roses. They're really hardy plants. They thrive off new growth. So I really think what's gonna happen is if you prune these off, what you're gonna see is that new growth come back without any of that rust on it, really because of the results of that copper fungicide. The next question is from Carl. Hey Tim, we've had a lot of rain and heat recently, and this is 1 out of 6 plants looking like this. Most of the leaves are normal, but 3 or 4 look like this. What is this, and how do I fix? So I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the heat and the rain. There are really 4 things that can impact hostas and cause their leaves to turn like this. The first are gonna be excessive heat. Second is gonna be too much water, or possibly not enough water, improper nutrition, and poor soil conditions. Based on what you told me in the rest of your email, I don't think it's a nutrition issue, and I do not believe that it's a soil issue because, again, you have other hostas that seem to be doing well. I think this just happens to be a slightly weaker plant than your other hostas, and all of the heat and all the rain that you've been getting are starting to impact it because, again, you said it's only a couple of leaves on this particular plant. So what I would do, frankly, is I would prune off those leaves, and then I would just give this particular plant, but frankly, all of your hostas, a little bit of Kickstart, a little bit of Garden Trust, and I think they're going to continue to do well the rest of the year. The last question today is from Richard. Hey Tim, what is the proper setting for the mower in the summer? High, low? Unfortunately, my Ego mower only has even numbers, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches. So when it comes to grass like tall fescue, 3 inches is really that magic number that you want. Now there are times of the year where you want to cut it a little bit shorter depending on what you're trying to accomplish in your lawn. But 3 inches is that average height that we always recommend here on Garden Sense. Now, during the extreme heat that some areas have been experiencing, it's okay to let that actually grow a little bit longer and to actually set the deck on your mower accordingly, because during the summertime, a little bit longer is better than a little bit shorter. But again, on average, 3 inches is where you want to be for tall fescue, so that's what I would go ahead and set your mower to. All right, folks, well, I said at the top of the program that because of the short week, this was gonna be a short video podcast, and I think I've delivered on my promise. But guys, it is July, and so the most critical thing we need to be worrying about right now is the overall health of our grass and the overall health of our gardens. So let's talk grass real quick. Folks, if you have not put down Turf Trust lawn fertilizers, you need to do that now. It is the single best product on the market for helping you maintain a healthy lawn. So fertilize your grass. This is the time of year where they really, really need it. They need that nutrition to pull from, to keep them healthy, especially with the extreme heat that we can find in July and even looking ahead to August. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you put down Kickstart. Now, I'll tell people that on average you need to put Kickstart down maybe once a month. During the month of July and looking ahead to the month of August, I would actually recommend you put down Kickstart twice a month. Again, we're in a time of year where there is really extreme heat, and Kickstart is frankly the best product to strengthen the roots of your lawn. Kickstart works amazingly well with Turf Trust, so get down those two products now. Let's transition real quickly over to your gardens. Again, depending on what you have in your garden, giving it some Garden Trust now is a good idea, again, to kind of keep those plants healthy, whether that's a vegetable garden, whether that's a flower garden. Again, Garden Trust is formulated specifically to help blooms, to help bulbs, but even to really help the production of fruit and vegetables in your vegetable garden. Again, Garden Trust is the product we always recommend, and that's what you need to be putting down right now. If you haven't fed your gardens, if they aren't looking as healthy, make sure you get down some Garden Trust. Finally, again, use Kickstart on your gardens. Plant roots are plant roots, and just like your grass, the plants, whether they're vegetable, whether they're flowers, they love Kickstart. You want to strengthen those roots, and Kickstart is the best product to use. And obviously, whether it's Turf Trust, Garden Trust, Kickstart, all of those products are available over at rosensonline.com. Now, some of you might be saying, hey Tim, I was just on there and I noticed that some of the Turf Trust is out of stock, some of the Kickstart is out of stock. Yes, you're right. We do have shipments coming. Don't worry, we won't be out of stock for long, but we are going to get that turned around. Folks, thank you so much for giving us this time on this Wednesday, the day after the 4th of July. I hope you had an amazing Independence Day. I hope you have a great rest of the week. God bless.